Hey, another beautiful Thursday morning. The sun is shining. Even if it wasn't shining, it's a beautiful day because we're here. Whoop, whoop. So this is Andrea Brown. I am the Mindful Realtor, supporting folks who are buying houses, renting houses, selling homes in the city of Decatur and around Georgia. I'm willing to travel. And it's all about finding that place that brings you joy, not that just this place where you're going to be paying monthly or whatever, or paying cash right out, but finding joy. And I'm here with my beautiful friend, the wellness rock star, Carla
Yes, I'm
DeRosa.
Carla DeRosa, your wellness rock star. And my specialty is helping women as they mature and goddess find the perfect place for their fitness and nutrition through natural ways. So I work virtually mostly. I also do retreats, but we do virtual detoxes and cleanses. So we have some coming up. So check me out.
That's awesome. So speaking of cleanses, one of the things I want to talk about today is kind of a two-parter. This is a continuation of the conversation we had last time. And this one is about trusting our gut as it relates to our well-being. Sometimes our bodies, our guts, really, literally, will tell us when something is a little bit off. I like to call it my spidey sense, right? And call it whatever you want. We do get nudges from the universe that, hey, you better check this out. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I've read that the microbiome, your gut, is actually like a second brain. And I really do think that it is. I think that, I've read again that we're more bacteria than we are even human cells. And so I think there's a part of us, an energy field, these organisms that feel vibration deeply. But because of our cultural norms, like feeling our feelings, especially in the society, because feelings are associated with feminine and women, are tamped down. And so we're taught not to trust our gut. So case in point, like growing up, bless my folks, but we were supposed to hug and kiss everybody. And there were some relatives that just wasn't a good idea. And the kids knew, like we knew in our guts, like, no, I don't really want to. And so now I see articles of, counselors and therapists saying, don't force your kids to hug and stuff like that. But that was, we were taught year after year to override our instinct about people and do what was right, do what was normal, do what was polite. And I think especially as women, we're in a habit of doing that, overriding that gut feeling, because we don't want to seem mean, we don't want to seem resistant, we don't want to seem bitche or whatever, when really we can see around corners and we don't want to acknowledge it because we don't want to be odd. But I think that it's a step toward mental demise and low self-esteem, because when the other shoe drops, we say to ourselves, dang, I kind of knew. Well, why don't you listen? Right?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And you were talking a little bit about training children, and even as adults, we train ourselves to, like you said, to fit in and not to be impolite. That's my thing, is I always want to be polite. And sometimes the situation calls for you to be direct, and there's nothing impolite about being direct, unless in our society you're a woman, because a direct male is strong, is ambitious, oh my God, leader. And when a woman is direct, there's something wrong with that, And when you have to tamp that down consistently to fit in, like you said, it does impact your mental health, your mental well-being, whether you realize it or not. You're not as joyful. You're not showing up in your full self. You're not exploring things. You're not taking risks because you're so focused on being polite and fitting in this box that society has created. And we can actually be out of that box. We can create our own box or circle or, whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so for whatever reason, in my culture, in my family, like we didn't really talk about things in the spiritual realm. So we didn't look at ourselves as spiritual beings. And so now in my life, decades later, I'm like, definitely, I'm a spiritual being. So I've studied metaphysics for about probably 30 years. So metaphysics is saying that there is something beyond the physical. Yeah. So we got physical, but meta, beyond. It's more than that. So I think that trusting in, those feelings, what's just beyond what we can see, it's great. It's really good. I mean, remember when people first heard about the law of attraction, everybody was mentally getting their parking spaces and things like that. It's the same thing. We get messages all the time. And so trusting in those messages allows us to trust in ourselves, which creates success when we trust in ourselves, and confidence. So that builds up self-esteem. I think when we see people who are constantly in their head, should I have said that? Should I have said that? It's because we doubt ourselves. Yeah. And we let ourselves down a lot by overriding our internal clock, our internal compass.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And kind of on that note, when we got together last Thursday, the end of our conversation, I didn't realize the tape was still rolling. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, did you see that you kind of messed up?" And my first inclination was to say, "Oh, maybe I should correct that." And then I thought, that's life. That is life. What am I afraid of? That people are going to know I'm a real human being? What? No. So again, it's about trusting your gut. And I do believe we are connected to spirit, God, universe, whatever name you'd like to give it. But the universe is communicating with us. And it's a practice, right? You have to practice listening. And you have to practice going with that message, just like anything else. So yeah, you can turn it on right now. Today, we can start practicing more, leaning into our gut, paying attention to those signs that say, hey, stop. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be with that person. You don't want to take that job. You don't want to go down that street. Whatever it is, listen and trust that. And what do you have to lose?
Absolutely. And it works the other way around too. When we need something, you just start, I need a photographer. I need a photographer. Who could be a photographer? Yes. And it comes up. Yes. Trusting that as well. Oh, what are we going to do for the holidays? What are we going to do? And it all works out magically.
Yes. When you relax in it. Yeah. Yes. I love it. Yes. Well, thank you for this part 2 conversation. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. And hey, that's it for today.
All right.